Alright, so now to get started, let's look at our positions on the water. Now, Mark was at Owen Beach at Point Defiance Park, and you'll see his laser fade in on the horizon. And I was positioned at Saltwater State Park in Des Moines, Washington. Now, while we're here, let's take into account what these two land masses would look like from my position facing towards Mark's position southwest. Alright, so the distance between these 2 points is 10.3 miles. Mark's going to say in a little bit that he's about 7 feet above sea level. That gives us a target hidden height of 33.2 feet.
That what?
I'm going back on again.
Yeah, bring it back on. Alright, yep. Alright, let me see. You're about dead on. Just a second.
Boom, boom, boom. All right, bring it to the right. Bring it to the right. Little bit. All right, stop right there. Bring it back a little bit. Ah, shoot. Hold on. Wait. Stay right there. Stay right there. Yeah, let me hit record. Ah, shoot. We're out of focus. Still see it, though. Look, we're out of focus and we still got a picture on the laser. Now, I zoomed in. It kind of looked like one of those stars. All right, hold on. Let me try to get this thing focused again. But yeah, I see you, man. Here, point it back to the left a little bit.
Your left?
Yeah. Yep. Bring it back just a hair. Boom, right there. That's perfect. Stay right there. Stay right there. Honestly, what's your elevation right now? You're in the water right now?
I'm checking the height right now.
Awesome. All right.
Let's see.
I would say
7 feet.
7 feet off the water.
About 7 feet off the water. Okay.
At this point, I'm anticipating that someone suffering from cognitive dissonance is going to say, no, he was more than 7 feet above sea level. Okay, so let's say 8.5. Now, where's the other 30 feet of curvature? Then somebody else is going to say, no, he's higher than 8.5 feet. Okay, let's try 10. So where's the other 27 feet of curvature? Yeah, stop it.
So here, I'm gonna lean down a little bit. It's like the tide's coming in. So hold on. Let me back this thing up a little bit. The water's coming in. Yeah. Give me a few seconds. Back it up just a little. Then I'm going to adjust my tripod to get the.
Yeah, this battery takes a lot of power to run that laser.
All right, yeah. Turn it off for a few seconds, but try to keep that position. I'm lower this time. So I got the camera like at about 3 feet above the water, somewhat. Got the tripod down low. So let's see what you got now, man. Let's see if I can find you.
All right, hope there's enough power in this. It takes quite a bit. Here it goes.
Okay. All right, hold on. Oh, yeah. Hold up. Wait. Stay right there. Right there. Let me get you. All right. So hold on, dude. You see it right here. All right, folks. Boom. There's a laser right there. All right. My tripod is nice and low. You see me? Boom. We're 10 miles away. I can see that laser. Mark, about how high are you above the water?
Right at about 7 feet.
Right at about 7 feet. And you're like kind of pointing downward toward my position then. That's cool. All right, yeah. So, yeah, everybody can see that I'm about 3 feet above the water, and we can see the laser just fine. Can't we, people? Can we see the laser just fine from 10 miles away? over all this flat water. Don't we see? Isn't that what we're seeing right now, people? 10 miles away. Look, you can see the laser. Dude, I can see the laser with my naked eye right now. Everybody can see it off in the distance. I'm not even looking into the camera right now. We can all see the laser together right now. 10 miles away, dude. Here, let's get lower. I'm going to put the phone down here. I'm going to put the phone down here on the ground. And we can still see the laser. Yeah? Huh? Everybody still see it? We're on the ground right now. 10 miles away. Huh? Do we need to get into the water? Let's get into the water a little bit. Huh? How about that? Oh, look, people. Hold on. We're in the flipping water, and you can still see the laser. Huh? Huh? Checkmate. Checkmate. That's game. That's game. That's game. Is it not? That's game, dude. Yo, Mark. Hey, I think we got enough, man. I think we can wrap this one up.
I know. We've all been taught that we live on a globe since we were children. But look at that globe and recognize that the blue areas on that globe represent bodies of water, namely oceans. But as I always say, Earth's surface is 71% water. Bodies of water do not curve. Therefore, the Earth is flat. Consider what you see in reality and ask yourself what makes the most sense.
Proves Earth is flat. This is going to be a nice, short, easy video. And in this video, I'm going to
water doesn't mysteriously start to curve downward after 10 miles.
Anybody on Earth can perform anywhere
from here,
on the Earth,
spread the truth, expose the lies, and demand answers.
So,
this is the Flat Earth Offensive, and you are the resistance.
So, on a spherical Earth, here's your spherical Earth. If we take two posts, or poles, right, and we stick them in the ground, and we want to stick these two posts in the ground at a distance apart that's great enough for curvature to be apparent, right? So obviously this graphic is not to scale. These two posts are very far apart, but that really doesn't matter. It's just a visual aid to understand it. So on this spherical Earth, we have inserted two posts into the ground. Now the posts radiate out of the center of the Earth. That's how we know that they are perfectly vertical. Vertical on a spherical Earth means perpendicular to your local level. So this post is going to be perpendicular to the Earth at that particular location, and this post is going to be perpendicular to the Earth at this location. And these posts are going to create 90-degree angles with the Earth. Now, we're going to place these two posts a distance apart where the curvature will be measurable. It'll be apparent. So let's just pretend like these two posts are 10 or 20 miles apart. And we're going to connect them with a tightrope. This red line is the rope. And we're going to tie the rope from this post to this post. And we're going to pretend these posts are 10 or 20 miles apart. And at that distance apart, there should be curvature to the Earth. Now, when we tie this tightrope to both posts, we're going to make a series of observations. One is that the rope is very tight, so the rope is straight. We have a straight rope. The rope is making less than 90-degree angles with the posts. So at each location on the Earth, right here, where the rope meets the post here, and right here where the rope meets the post here, it's going to form less than 90-degree angles. And the rope in the middle of the two posts, right here, it's going to be lower to the ground. Because of the curvature of the Earth, the rope is going to measure lower to the ground in the middle than it would at the posts. So let's just say these posts are 3 feet high and 3 feet high. In the middle, the rope will be lower than that. It's going to be closer to the Earth at the middle. These are 3 observations that nobody can deny. Now, the problem with this example, the problem with this scenario is, in reality, if we do a tightrope experiment, the tightrope and the post make 90-degree angles. You're not going to create a tightrope that forms a less than 90-degree angle with the post. as seen in this picture, in this illustration. Also, in reality, the rope is going to remain in equal height above the earth for the entire stretch. You're not going to see a difference in height like you see here on this illustration. So the only way to get 90-degree angles formed by the rope and the post and an equal distance, an equal height above the ground, we're going to have to move on to spherical earth B, as I'm calling this. In this example, we have our spherical earth. We've inserted our two posts into the ground vertically, right, perpendicular to the local level of the earth at this location. And now we're going to tie a rope to both posts. But the only way to do this and get 90-degree angles formed by the rope and the posts and keep an equal height above the earth is if the rope is actually curved and conforms with the curvature of the earth. See, a globe-tard, somebody who believes in the globe earth, they believe that a tightrope is actually curved. Somebody who believes in the globe earth, they believe that all flat surfaces are actually curved. Like when they look out at flat water on a still lake, they don't actually believe that that water is flat. They actually believe that that water has a slight curvature to it. They have to believe that in order to believe the globe earth. And in order to form 90-degree angles with the rope and the posts and keep an equal height above the ground, a globe-tard has to believe that a tightrope curves. And because of gravity, a tightrope curves and conforms to the curvature of the spherical earth. Now, there's an easier way to get 90-degree angles created by the tightrope and the posts and keep an equal height above the ground, a consistent height. And that's if we have a flat earth. So on the flat earth, we insert our two posts, doesn't matter what distance apart, they're vertical with the earth, they're parallel with one another, and then we tie a tightrope between them, and we form 90-degree angles with the rope and the post, and the rope remains an equal height, a consistent height above the earth at all times. Okay, so in this example, we have a straight tightrope, not a curved tightrope. We've got 90-degree angles formed by the tightrope and the posts, and the rope has a consistent height above the earth. We either believe in this example, or we have to believe in this example. You have to believe that a tightrope curves magically because of gravity, or you simply apply Occam's razor and you see that the earth is flat, vertical posts are perpendicular to the horizontal earth, and a tightrope remains parallel and horizontal with the earth and forms 90-degree angles with the posts. Logic always supports the flat earth. Experimentation, repeatable, demonstrable experimentation proves the flat earth. This tightrope experiment proves the earth is flat. Go do it for yourself. You will find that a tightrope will always form 90-degree angles with a vertical post and always remains an equal and consistent height above the earth. Thank you and good day.
This device is a simple electric motor. I'll explain how to construct this motor and discuss some of the science behind its operation. Electric motors convert electrical energy into mechanical energy. They use the push and pull of magnetic fields to create rotary motion. If you have viewed our video on magnetism, you will know that the opposite poles of magnets attract and the like poles repel. The poles are labeled north and south. Rotating this disc ceramic magnet moves the compass's magnetic needle. Red represents the North Pole. You may also know that a magnetic field appears when current flows in a conductor. Briefly connecting this wire to a battery deflects the compass's needle. Electricity creates a magnetic field. This effect can be used to create an electromagnet. This coil is the electromagnet in our simple motor. Connecting a AA battery, we can see the magnetic force from the coil moving the magnet in the compass. The coil is polarized. One side is north, the other is south. Let's start construction of our motor by creating the coil. Slide the permanent magnet into place. It doesn't matter which pole is up. Touching the leads to a single AA battery should cause the coil to bounce. If the coil is balanced and all electrical connections are completed, the motor should start. This is a commercially made DC motor. It is significantly more powerful and efficient than our simple motor. It accomplishes this with strong permanent magnets and large coils wound on an armature, and a method for controlling the polarity of the coil's magnetic field. Pulling the end off of the motor reveals brushes and an armature. The armature is the structure that holds the coils. Inside the motor housing, there are two large magnets, the field magnets. These powerful magnets interact with the field produced by the coils on the armature to create rotary motion. Direction of current flow through the coils is controlled by a switch called a commutator. These metal bars on the commutator are connected to the coils. Brushes deliver current to the contacts on the commutator. These brushes are made of carbon. They are connected to the external power connectors on the motor. The rotating contacts flip the direction of current flow, which also flips the polarity of the magnetic field, resulting in a powerful push-pull between the two fields. Similar technology can be found in motors powering everything from toys to locomotives.
darling, it's been a long, long, lonely winter. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. And I say, it's alright. Little darling, the smiles are returning to the faces. Little darling, it seems like years since they've been there. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. And I say, it's alright. It's been clear. Oh, here goes the sun. Here comes the sun. And I say, it's alright. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. And I say, it's alright.
So hey guys, Jeff here. Today I want to talk about the luminaries, the sun, the moon, and the stars, and how they rotate around in the firmament above us. I've gone over the sun in the past, so you might know a little bit about this subject. The sun goes around in a circle, and it takes 24 hours for the sun to circle the flat earth in one day. And the sun's circles get bigger and smaller depending on the time of the year. In June, the sun is circling over the Tropic of Cancer. So it's got a much tighter circle. In December, the sun is circling over the Tropic of Capricorn, so it's got a much bigger circle. And at the equinoxes, the sun is circling over the equator. Okay, equinox, equator. Now the moon also circles above the flat earth, but the moon is slightly slower than the sun. The moon takes 24 hours and 50 minutes to circle the flat earth. That's what's called a lunar day. It's slightly slower than the sun. So where the sun takes 24 hours to make one 360-degree circle, which is 15 degrees an hour, the moon takes 24 hours and 50 minutes to make one 360-degree circle, which equates to only 14.5 degrees per hour. So the moon, because it's slightly slower, it loses a half a degree on the sun per hour. So this half a degree per hour equals 12 degrees per day. So as the sun and the moon circle above in the firmament, the moon loses 12 degrees per day on the sun. And this 12 degree loss causes the lunar phases. So as you see here in this little animation, we've got the sun and the moon circling above, 1 hour at a time. And by the time the sun gets back to its original position at 12 noon, after one full day has gone by, the moon has lost 12 degrees on the sun. And this happens every day. And this loss of 12 degrees per day is what's going to cause the phases of the moon. So if you were to look up at the sky on day 1 at midnight in New Jersey, the moon would be here. And if you were to look up at the sky at the exact same time on day 2, the moon would be here. It's lost 12 degrees. It's 12 degrees further to the east. And if you were to look up at the sky at midnight on day 3, the moon would be 12 degrees further, and 12 degrees further, and so on and so forth. The moon loses 12 degrees per day, and this causes the phases of the moon. And I did my best to try to animate this for you so you could see it and understand it better. Now the stars are slightly different. There's something known as a sidereal day, which is slightly shorter than a solar day. A solar day is a true 24 hours. A sidereal day or a stellar day is what's slightly shorter by 4 minutes. A stellar day is only 23 hours and 56 minutes. So because it's 4 minutes faster than a regular day, this 4 minutes equates to 1 degree. So the stars all rotate around Polaris every single day, but because they're slightly faster than the sun, it gains 1 degree per day, and this causes the stars to shift 1 degree per day roughly, or roughly 7 degrees per week. So if you were to look up at the sky at the same time every day, they're going to be slightly different because they're shifting 1 degree every day. So here I've made a little animation of the Big Dipper and Polaris. I'm not going to include all the rest of the stars in this because, I'm not a computer whiz, but I can do the Big Dipper and Polaris. And every day it circles around Polaris. Polaris never moves. The North Star never moves. I know in my little animation it's bouncing around just a little bit here, but it's supposed to be constant. It never moves. It's a guide. So 1 rotation equals 1 stellar day. Now because it gains 1 degree per day, if you were to look up at the sky at week 1, you're going to see this. And week 2, if you were to look up at the sky at the same time, it's going to be shifted 7 degrees. And week 3, it's going to be shifted another 7 degrees roughly, and week 4, and week 5. And throughout the year, the constellations will constantly shift because they shift 1 degree a day roughly. And we have 365 days a year. So it's slightly less than 1 degree, but you get the point. This is how the constellations shift throughout the year. And this shift causes the constellations to be in a different spot throughout the year. And when this happens, you get fall, winter, spring, and summer. The 4 seasons. This symbol is an ancient symbol. You might know it as the swastika, but what it really means is the 4 seasons, because if you were to look at the Big Dipper throughout the year, this is what it's going to look like. Constantly pointing to the North Star, which never moves. So you got your spring, summer, fall, and winter. Unbelievable stuff. And it never stops. It just rotates around.
On a clear night, during a waxing or waning cycle, it is even possible to occasionally see stars and planets directly through the surface of the moon. On March 7, 1794, 4 astronomers, 3 in Norwich, 1 in London, wrote in The Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Astronomical Society that they, quote, saw a star in the dark part of the moon, which had not then attained the first quadrature, and from the representations which are given, the star must have appeared very far advanced upon the disk. Sir James South of the Royal Observatory in Kensington wrote a letter to the Times newspaper, April 7, 1848, that, quote, on the 15th of March, 1848, when the moon was 7½ days old, I never saw her unillumined disk so beautifully. On my first looking into the telescope, a star of about the 7th magnitude was some minutes of a degree distant from the moon's dark limb. I saw that its occultation by the moon was inevitable. The star, instead of disappearing the moment the moon's edge came into contact with it, apparently glided on the moon's dark face, as if it had been seen through a transparent moon, or as if a star were between me and the moon. I have seen a similar apparent projection several times. The cause of this phenomenon is involved in impenetrable mystery. In the monthly notices of the Royal Astronomical Society, for June 8, 1860, Thomas Gaunt stated that the, quote, occultation of Jupiter by the moon on the 24th of May, 1860, was seen with an achromatic of 3.3 inches aperture, 50 inches focus, the immersion with a power of 50, and the immersion with a power of 70. At the immersion, I could not see the dark limb of the moon until the planet appeared to touch it, and then only to the extent of the diameter of the planet. But what I was most struck with was the appearance on the moon as it passed over the planet. It appeared as though the planet was a dark object, and glided onto the moon instead of behind it. And the appearance continued until the planet was hid, when I suddenly lost the dark limb of the moon altogether. I have personally also seen stars through the edge of the waxing and waning moon. It actually happens fairly often. If you are diligent and specifically observing for the phenomenon, on starry nights, you can occasionally see it even with the naked eye.
In this video, there's a minimum of 75 Bible verses with prophecies and Bible codes that prove a flat geostationary Earth. I've grouped most of these verses into groups of 3, so I'm going to be counting down from 25 to 1. It'll make sense to you in a minute. And I've saved the best 2 for last, so let's start with some easy ones. Number 25, corners. Isaiah 11 verse 12, 4 corners of the earth. Revelation 7 verse 1, 4 corners of the earth. Revelation 20 verse 8, the 4 corners of the earth. You can't have corners on a sphere. That's because the earth is not a sphere. It's flat. Number 24, still earth. 1 Chronicles 16 verse 30, the world also shall be stable, that it be not moved. Psalm 96 verse 10, the world also shall be established, that it shall not be moved. Psalm 93 verse 1, the world also is established, that it cannot be moved. It's all consistent, clear as day. If the world isn't moving, then it's not spinning, and neither is it orbiting around the sun. Number 23, pillars. 1 Samuel 2 verse 8, for the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he has set the world upon them. Job 9 verse 6, and the pillars thereof tremble. Psalm 75 verse 3, I bear up the pillars of it. There's nothing about a ball-shaped earth that you can fit pillars into. That's because the earth is not round, the pillars hold up a flat earth, there's a dome on top, the earth is flat. Number 22, the firmament dome. Isaiah 24 verse 18, for the windows of heaven are opened. It's a dome over a flat earth. Isaiah 13 verse 13, therefore I will make the heavens tremble. If the heavens can tremble, then it has to have solidity to it. Genesis 1 verse 6, and God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. It's a dome over a flat earth that separates the waters above the dome. I read this so many times and I didn't see what was going on. I read the word firmament, didn't understand it, but it makes so much sense now when you take it literally. Strong's Concordance defines the word firmament as a solid expanse, roughly like the domed roof on this building here. Here's the inside of that dome, and the stars that we see in the sky would be fixed into this solid firmament, and the whole thing rotates around a flat, stationary Earth. That's why all the stars move around the sky together as one set piece, because you can only have a solid dome separating the waters above from the waters and seas below on a flat Earth with the atmosphere in the middle. It doesn't work on a ball-shaped Earth. Number 21, the firmament dome continued. Isaiah 44 verse 24, I am the Lord who made all things, who alone stretched out the heavens, who spread out the earth by myself. Well, you can't spread something out by rolling it into a ball. Psalms 18 verse 9, he bowed the heavens also. 2 Samuel 22 verse 10 repeats Psalms. It says, he bowed the heavens also. Strong's number H5186 describes the word bowed as bend. The heavens bend around us. It's a domed heaven around a flat earth. Number 20, the sun. There are 67 Bible verses that reference the sun moving. You can easily look this up. Here's a title on one website that lists them all. But zero, zilch, nothing, no Bible verses at all that ever make reference to the earth moving. So, at the very least, the Bible supports a geostationary earth. Number 19, Bible codes. If you're familiar with Bible codes, then you'll know there's a matrix of flat earth clusters from Luke 13 verse 28 to Luke 14. Here's the matrix. Here's flat, earth, and at equidistant letter spacing you'll also find dome, canopy, tent, truth, edge, disc, even, and a lot more. If you don't have Bible code software, then you can do this for free at BibleCodeWisdom.com. Number 18, height and depth. Job 11, verse 8. It is as high as heaven. What can you do? Deeper than hell. What can you know? So there's a height to heaven and a depth to hell. You can't have a height to heaven on a heliocentric, ever-expanding universe model. You can only have a height to heaven on a flat earth that has a dome over the top of it. Number 17, length and width. Job 11, verse 9. The measure thereof is longer than the earth and broader than the sea. It doesn't say longer than the sphere and broader than the curved ocean. You can't have a length and breadth on a ball unless you change the wording of the Bible to accommodate it. You can only have a length and breadth on a flat, level plane. Number 16, wisdom. Colossians 2, verse 8 says, Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world. 1 Timothy 6, verse 20, false science. 1 Corinthians 3, verse 19, For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. A ball-shaped world is wisdom to those that live in the world and get their information from TV or the education system. Wisdom of a global earth is literally foolishness with God. True wisdom is not taught in the education system, and neither will you find it on the 6 o'clock news. True wisdom is only found by carefully weighing up the options, and that's what we've been doing on this channel for the last few months, weighing up the evidence. Really try to understand what the Bible is saying here in these 3 verses, because it's telling us that the earth is flat, it's not round. Number 15, day and night. Job 26, verse 10. He has compassed the waters with bounds until the day and night come to an end. Well, that's interesting. Here's a flat earth map. The outer bounds are made of ice. The waters are literally compassed with an ice boundary. The sun goes around the earth like this. Both day and night can only come to an end where day and night meet the dome. Beyond the dome, time ceases to exist. Whoever happens to live in that realm outside the dimension of time, beyond the dome, which is the heaven, is also immortal. He's always been there. He can see the beginning and the end. Prophecies in the Bible, inspired by the Holy Spirit, show us the future is already foretold. And when the Bible talks of the everlasting, that's the place we all go to at some point. Problem is, most of us who reject the truth will face everlasting shame. Like it or not, we're all going to meet our Maker someday. So day and night can't possibly come to an end on a ball earth model. That's because the earth isn't a ball, the earth is flat. Number 14, foundations. Job 38, verse 4. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if you have understanding. As we've just seen, the foundations of the earth are pillars. Isaiah 48, verse 13. My hand also has laid the foundation of the earth, and my right hand has spanned the heavens. When I call unto them, they stand up together. If the heavens stand up at his command, then it's telling us here that the heavens are a dome, it's a solid dome, the earth is flat. Number 13, footstool. Isaiah 66, verse 1. The heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Matthew 5, verse 35. He's swearing, nor by earth, for it is his footstool. Acts 7, verse 49. Heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. This is what a footstool looks like. It's got 4 pillars. Here's another one. How exactly are you mistaking this for this? What footstool spins at 1,000 miles an hour? Number 12, desktop globe. Exodus 20, verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath. Isaiah 42, verse 8. Neither my praise to graven images. It's also the second of the 10 commandments, so that rules out having a spinning globe on your desktop, because what's a spinning globe? It's a graven image that depicts the earth. Why was the commandment not to have those things? Because it indoctrinates without even speaking. The earth isn't a globe, it's flat. Number 11, the stars. Matthew 24, verse 29. The stars shall fall from heaven. Mark 13, verse 25. And the stars of heaven shall fall. Revelation 6, verse 13. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth. We've all been brainwashed into thinking the stars are massive and trillions of miles away. The Bible is telling us the stars are not massive, they're small, close, and they're going to fall to the earth. So the universe that we see up there is dome-shaped and small enough to contain all the stars that circle around the flat stationary earth. Number 10, the universe. This is the ancient Hebrew view of the universe. We've got the earth on pillars, Sheol down there, and a dome over the flat geostationary earth, and all the stars and the sun and the moon inside the dome going around the earth. That's why in Genesis 1 verse 14 it says, "Let there be lights in the firmament of heaven," not orbiting a Milky Way galaxy, no, inside the dome, the firmament. Number 9, sun circuit. Psalm 96 verse 10, "The world also shall be established, that it shall not be moved." King James Version. Equally, that verse could support a ball-shaped earth, but it eliminates the possibility of the earth going around the sun. Bear that in mind for a moment. Psalm 19 verse 6, talking about the sun, "His going forth is from the end of heaven, and his circuit until the ends of it, and there is nothing hid from the heat thereof." If the sun has a circuit, then the sun is not the centre of the solar system as we've been told. Critics will say, yes, but the sun is on a circuit. It circles the centre of our Milky Way galaxy. Well, if the Earth is established that it cannot be moved, but the sun goes around the Milky Way, then the sun would fly off away from the Earth and we'd never see the sun again. So when the Bible talks of the sun having a circuit, it's talking about the sun circuiting around a flat earth. Number 8, circle of the earth. So those who loosely read the Bible point to Isaiah 40 verse 22, which says, "It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth." And they use that verse to support a round earth. But there is a difference between a sphere and a circle. Isaiah knew the difference between a ball and a circle because he describes a ball in Isaiah 22 verse 18. So why did Isaiah not use the same word for ball when describing the earth in chapter 40? That's because the earth is not a ball, it's a flat disc shape with a dome on top and pillars underneath. Number 7, grasshoppers. Psalm 33 verse 14, "From the place of his habitation he looks upon the inhabitants of the earth." You can't do that on a 13.8 billion light year across universe. It's a dome. Isaiah 40 verse 22, "It is he that sits above the circle of the earth, and its inhabitants are like grasshoppers." If you're outside the expanding heliocentric universe, then we wouldn't resemble grasshoppers. The entire galaxy would resemble a speck. It's a dome over a flat earth. Number 6, deception. Matthew 24, verse 24, "If it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect." 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 3, "Let no man deceive you by any means." Ephesians 5, verse 6, "Let no man deceive you with vain words." So, if you are deceived about the ball-shaped earth, thinking a sphere is the truth, then you've got no chance of ever being able to understand the Bible. You're self-barred from all knowledge. If you take the view that the flat earth is a distraction, then what exactly is it distracting you from? What, celebrity gossip? Or if you believe it doesn't matter if the earth is round or flat, then you're a self-confessed idiot, because it absolutely does matter if the earth is flat or round. You'll never be able to understand the Bible at all if you think the flat, round earth is a distraction or doesn't matter. Number 5, tent. If we go back to Isaiah 40 verse 22 and expand on it, if you remember, it says, "It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreads them out as a tent to dwell in." Here's a picture of my tent. I went camping in it a month ago. How exactly are you confusing a tent a dome-like structure, for an expanding universe 13.8 billion light-years across. They don't match up. Again, this verse gives credence to the fact that it's a flat earth with a dome-like structure above. Number 4, ends of the earth. Job 37, verse 3, and his lightning unto the ends of the earth. Daniel 4, verse 11, and the sight thereof to the end of all the earth. Proverbs 30, verse 4, who hath established all the ends of the earth? What is his name? And what is his son's name, if you can tell? Wow. Wow. Proverbs is Old Testament, and what a prophecy that is. Not only is it predicting Jesus, the Son of God, but also the ends of a flat, level earth. There's no end on a ball-shaped earth. It goes around continuously. You can only come to an end on a flat, level plane. Number 3, lies. Jeremiah 16, verse 19, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. This is a future prophecy following a monstrous destruction of people who believed lies. But it could just as easily apply now, today. Here we are today showing evidence of the ends of the earth, telling people the earth is flat, and the generation who lived from the 1930s until now got lied to. The generation above us inherited lies, and those who stand for nothing will believe anything. There's no end to the earth on a ball. That's because it's not a ball, it's flat. Number 2, the 4 winds. The Bible is consistent all the way through, from Old to New Testament, that there's 4 winds. For example, Jeremiah 49, verse 36, 4 winds. Daniel 7, verse 2, 4 winds. Matthew 24, verse 31, 4 winds. Revelation 7, verse 1, 4 winds. If you've got understanding, you'll know there's a jet stream that connects North America with Europe. Commercial aircraft try to fly in the jet stream to conserve fuel. Do some diligent research and you'll find there's 4 jet streams, 2 in the north and 2 in the southern hemisphere. So how did the guys who penned the Bible know about these 4 jet streams when they were only discovered in the 1920s, when planes could finally fly high enough to discover them? So we have a dome-shaped earth that requires cross-ventilation.
Okay, so here's an example of cross-ventilation. Here's my boiler in there, and you've got to have 2 ventilations, one at the top and one at the bottom. It's not sufficient to just have one, because that wouldn't circulate the air through. You've got to have 2 for sufficient ventilation.
If you want to properly ventilate your roof to prevent dry rot or wet rot, you'll need a minimum of 2 vents, one here and one here. But if you want to ventilate the entire earth, then you'll need inlets of air and outlets. That's why in Revelation 7 verse 1 it says, I saw 4 angels standing at the 4 corners of the earth, holding back the 4 winds of the earth, so that no wind would blow on the earth or on the sea or on any tree. And the picture you see on screen is a graphical representation of the 4 angels on the 4 corners of the earth. Each of them would feed in a jet stream of air into the dome, a bit like a leaf blower, to cross-ventilate the entire earth. Jet streams wouldn't work on a ball-shaped earth because they'd fizzle out to nothing very quickly. The only way I can visualize a jet stream working is to feed that jet stream somehow into the system by an inlet. It's impossible to replicate a constant fast-flowing column of air on a ball earth without something feeding that air into the system. Scientists will try and make out the case that hot and cold air colliding will cause a jet stream, but I think that's unlikely. So that brings us to the number 1 reason, and that is mathematics. In Psalm 147 verse 5, it's referring to the Almighty. It says, His understanding is infinite. And if we get to Genesis 1 verse 1, in the beginning God created the heaven, singular, and the earth. What you're about to see is approximately 20 seconds of complicated stuff. Just follow along as best you can here for 20 seconds, because this will knock your socks off. In Hebrew, the first sentence of the Bible looks like this. If you take the number of Hebrew letters and times that by the product of the letters, and then divide that by the number of words times the product of the words, you get 3.1416. That's the value of pi to 4 decimal places. Pi is the relationship of a circle's circumference to its diameter, so you measure the circumference of any circle all the way round and divide that by the diameter straight across, and you get 3.14, the value of pi, an infinite string of numbers. Okay, that's the complicated stuff over. What the Bible is describing here is clearly a circle and not a sphere. And only a flat geostationary circular Earth fits that description. And if that failed to knock your socks off, then you've not been paying attention, because what we've got here is the Bible describing the creation of the earth in words, and behind those words we've got a mathematical formula that not only verifies the authenticity of the text, a fingerprint of God if you will, but it describes the very shape of the earth, circular. In the future I might post a video just on this subject alone, or I might write a book on the subject, or I might correspond with and collaborate with people who care. There's a lot more to this than meets the eye. And finally, Luke 18 verse 17, for nothing is hid that shall not be made manifest, nor anything secret that shall not be known and come to light.